a big Cheyenne, win 13 or 14,000, and everybody's like, "Oh, you gonna try to make the steer open finals now?" It's like, well, I mean, I've been trying. First of the year. You know?
Rodeo time.
Welcome to the Luke Branquino Show. My next guest has been on the show many times. We have worked together a lot, and I really enjoy our yin and yang back and forth. Coleman, Proctor, I have you on before you say anything for one reason and one reason only, because we are going after that all-around championship. Coleman, thanks for joining us.
Hey, good to see you, Luke. It is good to be back on your show. Usually good things are happening when I come on your show. You know what I mean? Like,
right,
it's a good vibe rolling.
Yeah. And you know, it's been a big talk ever since Stetson Wright went down. That all-around race it's right there. And I know, I had Shad Mayfield on, and he's gunning for it. But a question, obviously, your primary event, the heading, right?
Absolutely. All
around, if you do your job in the heading, the all-around should take care of itself.
Absolutely. I'm just 40,000 behind Shad, and you know as well as I do, 40,000 goes fast when you get to Vegas. And I think another big one in there, Junior Noguera, him and Driggers, they team roping. They fit Vegas pretty good, but I have a lot of confidence in Logan and I's ability out there. And our horses are firing. They're feeling great. And really, let's back it up a little bit. This talk of the all-around, that started before Stetson. That was back last year. You're coming off the PBR teams deal. We meet. I see you at the South Point. I'm out there for the Indian National Finals. Kind of make a comment about how I'm roping calves out there at the last chance qualifier. You're like, what are you doing? I said, all around, baby. So it really started a year ago, here in about a week. But that's really where it started. Then Stetson going down. I mean, obviously, I hope that's not like career ending, because what a special guy that is. You know what I mean? Right. Like you saw it with the Ty Murray days and Trevor Brazil. And then we're in very legendary years of Stetson Wright. So I'm hoping he comes back, and, we're all making a run at this all-around title this year, but it'll be like we're renting it. You know what I mean? If he comes back. So, but it's still gold, and I'd still love to have one. You know
why wouldn't you, right?
Big gold buckles, baby.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it's kind of been a fun year for you, though. I mean, just missed making the steer open finals. So, I mean, not only did you succeed in your team roping with Logan, but you were so close to hitting that milestone of making the tripping finals, and no doubt you'll be there. But it kind of came down to one steer there at Pendleton, right? The last one.
Well, that gave me a big chance, and it came down to I just needed to execute better at the places I went to, and I started winning really good late, and I got some great horses, and it was just not quite time yet. I think I win 43,000, and this is the first year 40,000 doesn't make the steer open final. So, I mean, it's kudos to everybody that roped so great. Dalton Walker come from way back and chased them down, and ultimately, Pendleton gave me a big chance at it, and I went to Stephenville, Amarillo, and I think there were like 5 of them there at the end, and I had to charter back and forth from the Governor's Cup to make Stephenville work. But I came up short. But I always say this, and I think, Luke, you'll agree with me more than anybody. If it comes down to one rodeo, like, you didn't really rope good enough. And I'm real with that, because, I have 4 tripping horses, and I trip every day, and I practice, and I've really been after it. And, that started last fall as I was getting ready for this year. And so when guys after Cheyenne, they were like, I had a big Cheyenne, win 13 or 14,000, and everybody's like, oh, you're going to try to make steer open finals now? It's like, well, I mean, I've been trying. First of the year.
Yeah, I've been entered, actually.
Up on that website. But no, it was great. It was an awesome year. I'm learning a lot. Steer open is something that I don't think you can rush to success when you're trying to get good at it. Like, steer opening is very easy if you want to go tie one down. Like, you see guys at the time event, and they're like, oh, steer opening ain't hard. It's not hard to just go survive, but like, try to get good. Like, try to be a top 5 steer roper and beat those guys day in, day out. It's impressive. Just the artistry to it, and just how much cowboy awareness it requires. And it requires you running a lot of steers and starting to learn where to cut the time off.
Right. Well, and horsepower, I mean, they're pretty impressive. But you said something, if it comes down to one steer to make it, you really didn't and didn't. That's what I felt like my rookie year. I had one steer at the end of the year to make the national finals. I should have. I didn't execute like I should have on him. No, I can go all the way back to Jackson, Mississippi, where I broke the barrier and then I missed one. And then I can go to the next week where I missed one or I broke a barrier. And 40 head that could have made the difference of me going into the national finals. So I'm like you. I think if you always sit there and think, well, it was the last one that cost me. You probably wouldn't.
Well, and I think it's kind of a winner's mentality, because I remember the first year I missed the finals. I remember thinking, how in the world do you win more than we won this year? You know what I mean? How in the world? We won so many great victories. And it just set my mind up for not success there for a while, thinking about like, man, I did all this winning and it still wasn't good enough. Where in reality now I look at things that, I should have not messed my trip up in Cheyenne at the short round. I shouldn't have roped the neck at Lovington, New Mexico. I mean, you can just name off 2 or 3 here and there. And it keeps you having a winner's mentality when you don't put it all in one steer, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing I get. People don't understand. I get 10 nights of sitting on the stage just picking at that Luke Branquino brain, which, can I say this? Can I come out hot right now and say this as a very happily married heterosexual man who has 3 daughters? Dude, you look hot.
Thanks.
I saw you at the golf tournament the other day. I'm like, whoa, you're rolling with a whole new bag of hotness right now, dude. You've been working out.
Been working out, eating a little bit better than I used to. I'm in a size 33 jean and a large shirt. Like I could wear the cinch athletic fit that, they cut those like a V.
You got my clipboard falling down.
That's the things are moving and shaking, right? But the athletic fit, when they first brought them out and they're like, here, we're going to send you these. I'm like, yeah, not going to work for me. I go like this. Now I'm actually able to, I was a reverse V. Now I'm a regular V. So I appreciate you saying that, but as well as anybody, it's tough to stay in shape and be in shape out on the road.
Absolutely. And I tell you what, it's getting tougher the closer I get to 40. Used to come in, I could do a little bit of fasting and things that just go to dropping. And now it's like, I've been trying to be disciplined in fasting and I feel better, pants fit better, but I'm still weighing the exact same. And I'm like, and just here, and he came up the other day and we were roping, and it's hot. It's hot at my house, and he's here roping at like 3:00. And he said, I don't know how anybody is heavy up here. You guys hang out in this, sweat all day. He said, how does everybody not weigh 100 pounds that lives up here? And we're out in the practice pen all day. You know what I mean? And we get after
genetics, baby. Genetics.
And I tell him, I said, I work really hard. It takes a lot of work for me to put on a few extra pounds right here.
Because I know I'm going to sweat it off.
Exactly right. Exactly.
That's I will say, when we moved to Texas 2 years ago, I do think that heat helps jumpstart my thinness. Yeah, exactly. But then eating right, not being on the road, and anyway, let's get off of the health side of it.
We're thinking you fix to start jumping a few again, or are you just gonna stick to it?
No, I got to tell you, I have been. We got the arena up, finally able to get in it and rope. I roped probably 30 steers and only missed like 27. So I'm doing pretty good right now.
Sounds like a pretty good time to retire from team roping as well.
When we come back from break with Coleman Proctor, we're going to break down a little bit of steer wrestling for the time events with him and a little team roping for me. Well, here on the Luke Branquino Show, we do a little rodeo trivia. I'll ask a couple questions. I'm going to pause. You guys try to answer. If you get it right, maybe I'll give you a prize. Who knows? It's a fun thing about the Luke Branquino Show. A lot of surprises. What is the term used for a horse that is very good at bucking cowboys off? You could also use this term for a bull that is very good at bucking cowboys off. Welcome back to the Luke Branquino Show. My guest, and also somebody I co-host shows with, the Purina pre-show at the NFR. 10 nights out, Thomas and Mac, join us, Coleman Proctor. Thanks for coming on again.
Thanks for having me. God, I love coming to your show. Great job with the podcast. And as a fellow podcaster, I know how much work this is.
Yeah.
2 thumbs up.
We're also on TV too, Coleman. So this is actually going to be, people are going to see this beautiful mug of your face and be like, I'm going to cheer for that guy at the national finals.
Man, I should have shaved.
No, we like that rugged, rough look. Yeah, it looks good. Before we went to break, we were talking about me retiring from team roping after I caught 3 out of 30, which was, pretty good numbers. But you probably gonna get to this timed event deal at some point. You're gonna have to come down to the house, give me some heading lessons, and we'll swap out. I'll give you some bulldogging lessons.
You know, it is funny. I woke up the other day. I'm in my toter. I don't even know where we're at. And I woke up and it just hit me. It's like, it's time. It's time. Like they've asked me about coming before, and I've always turned it down. And I thought, you know, I wasn't at the right spot in my career to take a gamble like that yet. And still not. I mean, I still need to win so much more. But I just it hit me the other day. I thought, you know, I'm a planner. I like to have things out like in a plan. If I'm going to start doing something, I start seeing a vision early. And finally it came to me. I was like, you know what? It's time to start getting with it and go back. I got a dear friend that helped me in high school a lot, taught me how to catch the steer right. And I said, I'm going to go get his, it's about time to call him up and get it. He had a dummy horse built, and he had the original steer saver, like no tractor spring. You know what I mean? Have some stuff duct taped around it, get your ribs good and sore. And I thought, you know, it's time to call Tom up, maybe get old Rusty and the steer saver up here and start working on catching it again. And because I want to feel comfortable getting their head, and then I want to come down, and I want you to teach me what to do after that. Because I'm pretty.
It's funny you brought up the steer saver and how comfortable it is on your rib area. So Tyler Pearson, good friend of ours, rope and full, by the way. It was the last weekend of the season, and he didn't get to go to the Governor's Cup. And he called me. He's like, hey, I'm going to jump the dummy. What do you think? I'm like, have you been winning? He's like, yeah. I'm like, have you been bulldogging good? It's like, yeah. I said, why in the heck would you sore your body up before you got to go run 4 more steers and win something on them to guarantee yourself a spot in the national finals? I said, it'd be different if you were struggling. He's like, yeah, that does sore me up pretty good. Maybe I won't jump the dummy.
Makes a lot of good. You know, let's talk a little Pearson. How many great bulldogging horses has he made? You know,
he's made a lot.
And I think there's a lot to not just having a good one, not making a good one, but then maintaining a good one.
Yeah, for sure.
I loved getting to visit with him. You know, that racehorse, he calls him the sorrel.
Racehorse. That's what he calls him.
He was like, man, you know, he's stepping a step wide whenever we take off and pulling a little bit too much of the barrier. And I said, well, how do you fix that? And he went through the whole process of, you know, going and taking them and maintaining them. And there's a lot to it. People, I think steer wrestling kind of gets a bad rap at times because there's 4 guys in there pushing a horse to the corner and helping a guy nod. You know what I mean? But I don't think people understand the amount of horsemanship it requires to keep a horse liking his job in that event of score, run to the right spot. Yeah. You know what I mean? Step off at the right time, just place your feet. I mean, I think the horsemanship there gets missed a lot. And I had a very intriguing conversation with Pearson about it.
Well, I do agree with that. And, you know, you think about it with your horse, not anybody just gets on, swings a leg over and has success on him, right? In Absolutely. The bulldogging, it's a little bit different. I mean, you might have 4 or 5 guys. So that horse has 4 or 5 different feels on his back every rodeo, sometimes twice every rodeo. If it's 2-header, you run whatever. You know, so that consistency, they don't necessarily have of the same guy, the same motions, the same. I mean, it's, you know what I'm saying? Every time they get maybe one guy that's 250 pounds and the next guy's 180 pounds, and they ride different, pull different, stirrups are different, they kick different. There's so many variables that each person could bring to it. And then you just throw them all on this horse, and it's like, I don't know what to do. But you got a guy like Pearson that trains those horses where they're able to handle that pressure.
Absolutely. And bring them right back to sin. That's why I think you saw, you know, a couple of years ago, Will Loomis and Dakota, they're riding different bridles on the same horse, you know?
Exactly. Poor Ben's at the NFR is like, just I don't know what to do. They need to, what they need to do is split it, put one part on one side, one on the other, and then he didn't, you know.
You pull more on the right rein, I'll pull on the left. It'll be just fine.
Exactly. How do you do that?
Yeah, you are going to horse for me, though, right? Like, we're going to be ready.
Oh, yeah.
Would you come to the timed event in Hayes for me?
As long as there's not a high school rodeo.
Huh?
As long as there's not a high school rodeo.
I like it. That's valid.
Yeah.
Now that I totally understand where that's coming from.
And maybe if I did that, they would hire me to do TV, and the only time I'd take a break was to Hayes for you.
Wouldn't that be cool? Just hold on and hand your mic off, step on, Hayes for me. Come, or maybe they keep you mic'd up in the middle of it. You know, because I'm
very
sure
well
there's
could.
Ability we're talking to each other on the way. I'm like, Luke, I don't want to do this. You're going to do this. I'm not doing this. You're doing this. Do this.
And I grab you by the collar and pull you off.
Just pull me off in there.
You would get off. You don't need nobody to pull your collar.
No, I would. And I was pretty good at catching them in high school. We didn't ever throw any on the ground after that. So it really went downhill. In fact, the other day it was funny. I bought some tripping steers. I bought some from Hunter Cure, some old bulldoggers, right?
Yeah.
And my dear friend Evan Allard, world champion bullfighter, heck of a great guy. Worked the finals in 19. He decides to retire from bullfighting and become a steer roper, which is a natural transition. It's both are living on the edge.
Right.
And I saw the steer we were trying to cast their horns, and I had laid them down, was just tying them, and then we'd hold them and then put their, cast their head. And this one goes ahead and gets up. So I got a hold of him now, and it's just me. What I need to realize is I'm a professional header, right? And when I get bulldogging steers that Hunter Cure is like, I'm tired of bulldogging this steer, you can have him. Like, I don't need to try to throw him down. When I tell you, like, this year, I thought I had his head. Everything's great. I'm leaning over the front, going to kiss him on the nose like Pearson talks about. I lock up deep, and when I come here, like, he then picks me up, turns around, and starts kind of mopping the arena with me like this, And, I mean, there's 240 athletic, a lot of core strength,
right.
And, I mean, he is just working the ground with me. So, Evan, natural instincts kick in, and now he's right in the middle of us. He's not helping the situation, but he's going to take the hooking with me. You know what I mean?
So he's stepping on you.
Yeah, he's stepping on me. It significantly made it worse for a minute, but we did get the steer down, got him casted, and so we won in the end. But
right.
I told Evan, I said, see, that stuff's just bred into you. You know what I mean? I'm probably going to video that.
Right. Yeah. Hold on right there. And get your phone out.
Hold him right there. That's awesome.
But we'll have a little bit softer steers for you when you come down here.
But I did tell Tierney about my revelation the other day, because, Tierney, I'm Team Tierney all the way. I go help him down there. And he's won that, right? Yes, sir. And the Tierney clan, they've won that thing a bunch of times. I think his dad won it maybe 3, maybe his brothers won it 3, and Tierney's won it once. And but I tell him, I was like, well, I think it's time for me to put my name down. And he looks at me and he just, well, who's going to help us? I tell you what, let's do this next year. I want about a year and a half of getting comfortable, because I want to show up. Obviously when I show up, I want a chance to win,
right.
And I don't want to. I want to be comfortable enough that everything feels like a strength. You know what I'm saying?
So are we talking 2025?
That's when I'm thinking
championship timed events.
What do you think? I think that's the perfect.
I think that's perfect. I think you're going to be set up, and we'll get you down here, in the winter time and get you jumping some steers and jumping the dummy. We'll throw you some steers down. And before we do that, you started showing me some trinkets that you got from your last big all-around championship at the Pendleton Roundup. Let's see it. Let's see what you got.
Okay, first of all, I have a pocket watch. Do you know how many times that I've gotten my kids ready in the morning and I pull this bad boy out and it's, girls, it's time. Let's go. Right? You got a pocket watch.
Do you really use that?
Yeah, and then my daughter took it one day to school for show and tell, didn't tell anybody, and it was just missing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. What else?
We got it back. So I didn't realize until Tyler Waters won it last year that at Pendleton they actually do an all-around and then a timed event all-around. So there's the timed event, Ron Curran Memorial.
Those are some pretty buckles.
Timed event all-around buckle. That one was really cool. And then probably one of my favorites that I haven't even figured out how to hold it right is the bow. They gave me the bow, right? You were a Bowtech man, right?
Oh yeah, I was sponsored by Bowtech many years ago.
And I'm a quarter Cherokee, so I kind of feel like,
well, then you should have a recurved.
I'm gonna hit with one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we should have a recurve. Well, that's pretty cool though. And if you ever want to get rid of that and your girls don't want it, I know somebody that would take it off your hands. It would be a great talking piece. How'd you get this? Well, my buddy Coleman Proctor won it all around.
It must be an Oregon thing too, because last year I won the all around at Prineville, Oregon, and I won an axe with a Pulaski, called a Pulaski.
Hey, I think that's bad though. Those are awesome. That's like so uncommon to have and get.
I know, and aren't these like the coolest gifts that you get? I mean, let's be real. Like as soon as I won it, like immediately that one went on.
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you?
But like to win cool, like a bow and an axe. You know what I mean?
Right.
A pocket
watch. Yeah, that you could snap shut and say it's time.
I wonder if I could hypnotize you right over the air. That'd be something.
That would be something. Okay. Let's get back on track. Training regiment for the national finals rodeo. What do you got?
I've been obviously rope every day, and I tell you what, anymore the off season's not very off. There's a lot of jackpotting. We've been a lot of rodeos coming up. We got the Hondo Classic. They're going to happen in Phoenix coming up here in about another week, 2 weeks, 3. My circuit finals. We're tripping steers every day because usually I cut the tripping off as soon as my circuit finals is done. We go to the roping fiesta at San Angelo. I just like to stay focused on team roping. But this year, actually, our San Antonio steer roping is in November. So, we're going to have to keep that up. But mainly what I started doing right off the bat, and I started early this year in September, I started trying to do my fasting a little earlier because as I get closer to 40, it's that 4K camera, man, and they shoot it up. Like, what a terrible angle this is. Let's be real. You know what I mean? Like, this shirt fits better than what it's appearing right now on TV.
Right.
But, no, I just got some steers in. I just, I buy about 30 head of Mexican steers to try to have as close to a real feel as I can get. In the team roping, it's so much timing and rhythm through the turn. And so trying to make for realistic practices on that with my partner. And he'll come up starting November. We usually spend 3 days a week in the practice pen. We have a really cool little indoor arena some friends of mine allow us to use. We set it up the same dimensions, same everything. And I try to use really just the horses I have that are as realistic to my little bay Heisman that I'm going to ride out there.
Coleman, thanks again for joining us. I know you got so many goals that you're trying to reach out to, but winning that all around is going to be huge.
Man, we're looking forward to it. We've been after a gold buckle in the team roping for a long time, and I really feel like our chances are high there, and we're going to work really hard for it. And I think the all-around is super sweet because I never really planned on being a 2-event cowboy, and I'm really blessed that it's came along like it has, and we're going to actually have an opportunity at it.
Well, Coleman, from all of us here at the Luke Branquino Show, we wish you the best of luck in Las Vegas and hopefully go and get that all-around championship along with that heading championship. Appreciate you coming on, and for all you out there watching and listening, thank you for supporting the Luke Branquino Show, and get ready because we got some more great episodes coming up.
I feel like God had different plans for me this year. I don't want to get cut on. I'm scared of surgery and all that, and, I had a great start to the year, and, I felt like stuff was happening too fast.
What is the term used for a horse that is very good at bucking cowboys off? You could also use this term for a bull that is very good at bucking cowboys off. We call them the rank ones. They're so rank, nobody could ride them. Hey, you want to see more in-depth details on the Luke Branquino Show? Make sure you like and subscribe.